School administrators have been given 7 months to show how they're going to ensure all students have equal access to high-quality teachers. That's the order coming from the White House as it seeks to improve the level of education across the U.S. Arise News correspondent Shahan Ramkissoon is here with more on this story. Hey, Shahan.
Hey, top teachers for all. That's what President Barack Obama wants, as he's tasked education administrators to talk hard and make sense about how that can be made possible. The White House reckons all states should conduct teacher evaluations to see if those with lower ratings were in fact assigned to hard-served schools. Meanwhile, superintendents have until June to make sure public schools comply with existing federal law. It says poor and minority children should not be taught by inexperienced and sometimes unqualified teachers. Officials say they're not impressed by the lack of compliance. Now, the Education Department conducted research on teacher experience, absenteeism, and salary, and will send the results to all districts so they can work on addressing the areas of concerns. Debbie.
Hey, Shahan, let me ask you a couple of quick questions if I can. First of all, how do they gauge whether states are complying with this, and what is the measure for doing so?
Yeah. Well, basically, they'll go to areas, the so-called hard-to-school areas. And for instance, in New York, it would be the Bronx, Harlem, East New York. And they'll go to those schools to monitor and evaluate the teachers in those schools. If they have only a couple months experience or a year's experience and they're teaching maths or science, for instance, which are considered really difficult subjects to teach, then that school will be in trouble because they don't have the appropriate qualification to be in that position.
And that leads me to my next question. You said that school will be in trouble. What is the trouble? What's the penalty?
Well, the schools will be sanctioned, and school administrators can be held accountable in terms of suspension, and they will be forced by law to now enforce the federal laws, which does say that you cannot put someone who's unqualified or inexperienced in that position. They'll now have to go around and look for the appropriate people with the appropriate skills.
So curious about how teachers are reacting to this.
You know, I spoke to a teacher in Virginia who said she thought it might be an insult for the education department to actually carry out evaluations because they've gone through the processes and passed exams to get where they are. But she does, however, believe that it is necessary, quite surprisingly enough. And a principal in New York says she also thinks it would be a good idea because the fact is that some schools allow people in without the proper qualifications.
That is so surprising because one of the proposals, as I understand it, is for teacher evaluations, right?
Yeah.
And very often teachers don't like that.
No, they don't, but they do have to go through a recertification process every couple of years anyway. So they have to go through that evaluation process. This will just be more thorough to see if they are skilled enough to teach specific subjects.
Very, very interesting. Shahan Ramkissoon, thank you.
Thank you.
See you.